Well, if the pre-market is predictive, and some days it is and some days it isn't, but it generally is kind of at least directionally correct, then Tesla will be unsurprisingly lower this morning, and the rest of the equities are headed up. The bonds are also headed down, meaning that the yields are heading up. But anyway, we'll check on all that in just a few minutes. The week will be super interesting for anyone paying attention to the economy and to the markets. As we have Microsoft, we have Apple, we have Meta reporting along with the GDP and also the PCE. So expect some fireworks this week. But of course, for those of us in the Tesla world, we're on pins and needles because we want to know what our fearless leader is going to say tomorrow afternoon in the earnings call. And that will definitely be the highlight of the week for me. I've said it many times before in this space, and unless you're a trader, it shouldn't matter what happens in the next days, weeks, or months. The real payoff is next year, the year after, or maybe even much longer. You might not be planning to sell your stock ever, or certainly not until the end of the decade. So it's really not going to matter, but I get it. Some of you are hoping it'll go lower because you can buy more with that dry powder you're still holding on to. But you know what? For all of us who are the holders and we're going to be holding forever, it just doesn't feel good. I get it. We want our team to win. We want our assets to stay green and growing. And we don't want our non-investing spouses to question our sanity again. Did I cover everything? Is that how you're feeling as we see the stock moving, down into the 140s, maybe the 130s? Well, okay. So here's what's new this morning that might impact the stock today. Elon says that X is coming to the Tesla. It's coming into the info and entertainment center. Don't know how that is going to look or what it's going to be like. Obviously, we're not going to be able to read it, at least yet, while we're driving. But what I'm hoping it means is that Grok is coming and that Grok's voice is coming and that we will be able to hear and have a conversation with Grok. We'll be able to talk to our car. I think that'll be the coolest thing ever. And I think it will sell more cars because that will be something we could really have fun showing off to our friends. And a lot of people buy their car based on just exactly how much they can show off to their friends. Okay, this is from Tesla Bot Journal this morning. Agility Robotics has issued a challenge to Optimus to walk around the block. A competition to see who can sort blocks fastest, he says, would be more exciting than watching robots walking around. What type of competition would you propose for a humanoid robot showdown? He wants to know. This could be fun. Maybe all these bots could get into some kind of competition. I'm not terribly concerned about the competition on bots, just like I'm not concerned about the competition on cars or on full self-driving or on robotaxis. The TAM on robotaxis is massive. And also, even the TAM on cars, the hardware is massive. Electric cars is massive, except for this little downturn we have right now. This is not what's going to happen in the future. It's going to change. But we have what we have. And so there's this conversation going on this morning between Jeff Lutz and AJ and Gary Black. And over on X, they're having a little mini war. So Jeff Lutz is talking about the impact of the $2,000 price decreases over the weekend. And he says this. He says, look, here's the math. If you believe that Tesla is going to produce 92,000 Model Ys in the US in Q2, and number one, the configurator prices are net 1,000 lower on 4-1 price increases. We had a 4-1 price increase by 1,000 after now a decrease by 2,000. So overall, it's $1,000 less expensive. Then he says, number two, Tesla removed inventory discounts across the days of inventory of 26 days, conservatively at $3,000 per vehicle. Tesla has about 75,000 production days per quarter that are revenue recognized. And Tesla ran inventory discounts for 6 quarters in a row. So it's not like it's a one-time thing. He says Tesla presents a similar or the same inventory vehicle when someone tries to configure a new vehicle. So you get a choice when you go in. The math says that this is a net $31 million increase in the ASP. So don't get fooled by MSRPs. Well, Black responds to that. He says, well, Jeff is looking backwards and investors are looking forward. And I say, true, but we have no idea whether Tesla will increase or decrease prices tomorrow or next week or next month or next quarter or next year. So it's very instructive to review the impact of the action right now. Jeff responds, he says, look, January to April 2023, Tesla did price corrections from COVID surge prices. It would be super naive to believe Tesla could sell equivalent volumes of Model Y at 55,000 to 85,000. Number two, since the second half of 2023, after Tesla upgraded their factories, their MSRP reductions are in line with cost of goods sold. There is data here that shows that. We can see the data. In Q1, units are down 20% versus analyst expectations. Tesla did not share guidance. At least half of this was due to supply on new products of the inability to have it make enough Model 3s and or enough Cybertrucks. Some due to Model Y Red Sea timing. We know about that. The product that wasn't coming in from the Red Sea took an extra 2 weeks to go around the Cape Horn. And the other half can be argued as demand related. Cost of goods and gross margin will suffer as a result of units being down in Q1. Number four, Tesla introduced and maintained inventory discounts for 6 quarters straight. Not sure how anyone could predict Tesla's future pricing given how erratic it has been. Number five, I've been responding to what they have done recently in the US year to date with inventory reductions removed. Net ASP is higher on 3 and Y, 95% of the total volume. And then later on, we'll take a look at other regions, he says. AJ responds that he agrees with everything that he says, I think Jeff's approach is a sensible one since I fail to find fault with his inductive reasoning. Also, his approach is deductively consistent. The modest 31 million is a rounding error, the $31 million increase in the average selling price. In other words, it has net zero impact. And then I agree also, not in X, I didn't bother to get in the fight, but AJ expects the morning sell-off today to reverse later in the day as smart investors kind of figure out the reality of what Jeff is talking about. I'm not so sure. I think the sell-off is also about huge amounts of fear going into the earnings call. What might be a shocking result on Tuesday and Wednesday would be a reversal of the normal situation around earnings with people selling into earnings and then having a positive reaction to a not as bad as expected earnings call. Wouldn't that be a shocker? All right, this is Randy Kirk, but I wouldn't trade that. And by the way, it's not investment advice. This is Randy Kirk. Brian White will be with us later today. We will also have a Good News Monday later tonight. Nicholas Gibbs will be with me tomorrow afternoon after the earnings call. There will be an After the Bell tomorrow morning. Wednesday gets a little trickier, and then Thursday gets super tricky as I'm flying, but I'll just keep doing as many as I can possibly provide you. Please hit the like button if you like the fact that I'm trying to still do this while I'm on vacation. And don't hit you can hit the dislike button if you want. Hit notify, hit subscribe. A lot of subscribers this week. Am I doing something better? I'm not quite sure, but huge number of subscribers. And thank you for those who have joined Patreon. Would you please check it out below, join the Patreon. There's a link easily found down below. You might also want to buy some of those. Am I going the right way? Cybertrucks. They're on the panel. It's still $25 for one, $45 for two. You know the story. All right. There are no major companies reporting today earnings, and but there is a consensus. I saw this article where there's a consensus among those who've been polled that the Magnificent Seven, I guess, because we know Tesla's not going to do great, but anyway, the Magnificent Seven together or I guess it said that the tech sector will show around a 30% earnings increase, and the rest of the S&P will show a slight decrease, around 3%. Overall, I don't see that as very good news. If that is how it turns out, I'm not sure the market's going to like that we actually are seeing a 3% discount in the non-tech stocks. Okay, we'll watch. We'll see what happens as the week progresses. This from Market Watch. This is not going to be terribly surprising if you've been paying attention. Certainly didn't surprise me, but I thought I should report it. Car dealerships started March with 2.74 million new cars in stock, and they ended it with 2.77 million, despite a good sales month. Car sales always pick up in the spring as tax return season begins, but this year it wasn't enough to offset high production at some factories. So the factories are want to make their numbers. They didn't care what happens to the dealers. Well, it sounds to me like it was balanced, but they actually ended up with more inventory, not less, at the end of the month. That means many dealers have way more cars on the lot than they'd like. Car dealers measure their stock in days of inventory, how long it would take them to empty the lot at today's sales pace. And traditional industry practice has them trying to sell them in 60 days, but the average dealer today is looking at 72 days. So Tesla not alone in the circumstance. Okay. Oh, it goes on to say a backlog means discounts. Oh, I see. That means many discounts on new cars. The price of the average new car fell to a nearly 2-year low in March at $47,218. Incentives make up 6.6% of that price, more than double the discounts common a year ago. Surprise, surprise. With inventory still high, the figure is likely to grow this month. All right, where are the markets right this minute? The market has opened a few minutes ago, and so we can see where we are for real. And we start off with Tesla. Tesla down 3.81%, are down $5.60 at $141.45. We have got the Dow up 85, so not as much as it was in the pre-market. Nasdaq up 105, doing well. S&P up 19.40. We have got the Mag 7, other than Tesla, all up this morning, including Nvidia, and it's up 18 bucks. But all of them pretty strongly up this morning. Even Apple, which is expected to disappoint later this week. We have got the Cathie Woods are mixed, but pretty close to even, pretty much an unchanged situation. So up a few cents, down a few cents, nothing even up $1 or more. Okay, let's go back and look at some percentages here. We have got the Dow up 0.18%, the Nasdaq up 0.72%, S&P up 0.39%, Tesla down 4.11%. We have got Nvidia up 2.92%. All right, let's go ahead and see how bonds might be affecting any of that. We have got the 10-year this morning is up 2.6, actually doing better than it was in the pre-market. It was up 3.3, so up 2.6% at 4.641. We have got the 2-year is only up 4/10 of a basis point at 4.973. So that difference is about 33 basis points, which is a tiny bit less than the average over the last few months. We have got the 2-month up 0.3 basis points at 5.398, also about the same spread as it has been against the 10-year. All right, oil this morning. Oil this morning. Come on, computer. We're looking for the oil prices. Well, I'm so sorry about this. The app has gone dark on me. I don't know why. Let me turn it down. See what happens. Well, okay, what can I talk about? Let's see. I am off to see some friends this morning in North Carolina. Oh, here we go. Bonds, oil. Here we go. Oil. U.S. crude down another buck, and the Brent is down $1.36. So Brent is down at 86, and the U.S. Texas Intermediate is at 82. So that's a $4 spread. We've got natural gas sitting at 1.789, starting to move up again, up 2% this morning. You've got gold down $61 a share this morning. Go figure. I had a story on gold this morning. What happened to that story on gold? What did I do with that story on gold? Maybe I decided not to tell it. Oh, I just going to tell, it was just another confirmation that China is buying gold like crazy. Okay, then we got copper. It's down 0.58% at 44715, 447, 447 even right now, just changed. Okay, we have got the dollar a little higher, pretty close to even. We've got Bitcoin up 1230 at almost 66, 65.9. All right, so that covers the full range there. Another reminder, stay tuned. It's going to be really amazing. Brian White later today. We will do the good news on Monday night. It will not be Larry Goldberg. It's impossible with our time difference right now to have him on that show, sadly, but we will find ways to get Larry in there as often as possible. May have to be on Saturdays. We'll see how that all works out. And then for sure, you're not going to want to miss Nicholas Gibbs and I when we talk about what happened at the earnings call tomorrow afternoon. And then the rest of the week, I'll try to keep you informed as to what I think is going to happen with the shows. Thank you for your amazing support while I'm out of town. The numbers have just been crazy high, and that is very, very encouraging. All right, that's it. It's been great talking to you.